very hot morning. And today, so yeah, I skipped the afternoon yesterday because it was hot and I didn't start till 2 because that's when my childcare finished. And I was just melting by that point, so I took the afternoon off, so forgive me for that. Today, basically I'm not really running off my to-do list. I'm just getting this new system to work, which is the base building aspect of the game. So yeah, I talked about this before. New progression system. The old one where it's just a skill tree and you spend beans was just too sort of abstract. And yeah, we can do a bit better than that. I think games like what am I thinking of? Not Megabonk. Megabonk had a really basic system, but like Ball Pit had a really cool, like, what are you doing outside of just playing the game system. And yeah, I want something like that. Okay, we're somewhere. And yeah, I think I unlocked that one yesterday. And why doesn't that one unlock? We'll see. I reckon if I leave and then come back, it'll be unlocked. So it should have the yellow thing around it. Yeah, it does. Okay, so we've got that part done. Like, so this isn't starting from scratch. I've set up a lot of this already. And so what we need to do is basically, like, the way I go. So a lot of people, what you should do, so don't make the same mistakes as me, is kind of like make a plan for how you're going to program this, or just kind of do it from memory. But for me, I'm kind of just, I press play and I do the thing and just go through it until it works. And so far, it kind of works. You start the game, that will be the play button, and then you go, you'll go to a map and you'll see a bunch of nodes on the map. Where you'll have the towns. You'll also have like story missions, which will, be like a sort of Super Mario World map where you see the node, you click on it, and it will take you to a game, and it will take you to the story, and then once you've done that, it will take you back here, and you'll get the next one open, and there might be conditions to unlock the next one. Or you can click on the towns, where you can basically upgrade each character's stuff. So yeah, we just need to make this work. Like, the basics are there, so we could do the exit button. So at the moment, I think exit. So do we even have that set up? Like, no, we don't. I don't think. Okay, that's the language part. And so we would want our, I guess what's it called? We don't have like its own script for the panel, but I think we can all just have it in here. So yeah, building panel. Public button building panel back. Or building panel close. So on click, so this is how you set up a button. Exit, and we already have, oh no, we want to say close building panel, and then we do just somewhere private void close building panel, building panel, and I think this is just a very simple building panel dot game object dot set active false. Let me just double check that that's how we're doing it. Huh. That should be. Oh, that would be on the actual base container, building container. There we go, building container. Let's put it next to base container. And open building. Oh, building panel is a game object, so I don't need to say game object. That's why that didn't show up. Okay. So that's simple, and then we just need to make that. And just while it's fresh in the head, once we and then where do we have it set up? So when you press the button, oh, leaf button, yeah, there it is. So let's just put that over here. Leaf button. It just unlocks the leaf. Very simple stuff, and we'll just comment this out for now. Simple, 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 simple. Okay, so when we do that, we would want to do we just want to prompt it to like update itself. So we go base manager. Should we do like a static void? So I always do these things slightly differently because I'm finding the best way to do it. But we would have like, yeah, a static void. Public static void open update update leaves. Sorry, I'm going to be a bit slow today again because it is bloody hot. Although right now it's kind of okay, but it will get hot. I was up at 6 because of a car alarm, and excuses, got 2 kids. Got a migraine, but I've already taken an ibuprofen and it hasn't gotten too bad yet. But yeah, just excuses for being slow. So we already have this. So this is just changing the look of the buttons to show which ones are there and which ones aren't, except the problem is if it's static, we have to I mean, I think maybe the way to do it is building.names. Okay, so when we click the thing, so we do open building, and we get our building because it's opening a specific building, except we need to like know which building is open. So we'll have a public or even private, could be private. Building, and then we say current building, and then we say and then that should work. Okay. And then what that should do is make it so that when we click the thing, we don't have to close it and reopen it to know what's happened. And then and that's pretty straightforward. That just means it's there, and then that should work like that as it exists now. It should plug into the existing system. Leaf in leaves. When we set up the game, we're setting it up based on what leaves we have. Maybe it'd be better to do it like to the library of characters, like so now they just have the stat and then we just summon them as is rather than giving everyone a buff at the start, because basically it just plugs into the buff system, which is quite neat actually. It means that we don't have to like we just add buff based on the stats. So we'll see about that. That all might need to be a bit changed. Because one of the things I should do, and I'm still thinking about whether to do it, because it's a big, fundamental change, and I'm gonna do this for all future games. And maybe I should just start doing it. Is it going to be relevant? So this I can make the code objectively better. The problem is it worth it? Like, because if it runs fine, if it's optimized and it doesn't bug and it works, then there's no need to change that really, right? Like, there's no need to make the code prettier just for the sake of it being prettier. But what I should really have, so I'm about to start doing it, but I'm just thinking about whether it's time yet. I don't want to get distracted. So basically, what I need to do is make a script called stats, right? Where basically we determine each stat's name, and each one would have a description of what it does and a sprite. And then when we make a buff, we can just say this buff has a list of stats on it, right? Which and then, because at the moment we've got this awful spaghetti. So if we go to character container and we go to add buff, this is horrible, nasty spaghetti. We do a massive switch case to say what is the stat you're asking for. Whereas what we could do is just say, look at this, like, if the buff says this, then do this. If the buff says that, then do that. Whereas what we could do is just have each buff have a list of stats on it. And then we just do a for each buff, for each stat in the buff that we're adding, add it. And for each stat in the buff that we're removing, remove it. And then we could get rid of all of this spaghetti. All of this spaghetti would go away. And that would be relevant and worth doing now, because while I'm in the sort of stage of balancing the game and maybe changing a few things here and there, it would like basically next time I make a buff, I would want to do it, because every time I make a buff, I'm just having to do extra work. So you know what? I'm going to do it. So buff.stat is a string, right? It should be a stat, and it should be a list of stats. Let's fucking do it. Let's do it. So I'm going to change the name of this. Well, okay, no. Stop. Think. Let's finish what I was doing. And then I'm going to put it right at the top of my list. Update stats. Code. But for now, I'm just focusing on this UI. And so I've done a lot of the hard work. And there's a canvas, building panel, turn it on. And we've got the different scroll views for the different buildings. So I just need to, in here, I would make different ones for different buildings, and it will unlock as long as I name each of the leaf buttons here correctly. The script will then make sure it has the right sprite, name, cost, and kind of sort out the lines between them. And I just need to make sure that we have one of these. So that is a bit funky, like, but I think this is the best way. I've already gone through this thought process. So if we added, so yeah, let's just add this exit button then. And so I don't think we even want one here. Although yeah, I guess we do. That's like a back to main menu basically, or back to the map. But I think we do want a button on the actual thing, because we could just press that again to then close that. Is that better? Is that fine? Is that okay? So let's work. So what I'm suggesting is, instead of having a button here that you can use to close this window, you could just use this one. And it would just close that for you. So the way that would look is on Base Manager. This should be the first one. On Base Manager. Exit button. It's a bit spaghettified at the moment because we don't need the other button then. Yeah, let's do it like this. I think this is cleaner. And we can change it when we do a big overhaul to the UI if necessary. Okay. Yeah, so I think that'll just work. So let's try it. Oh, we're going to need to set the... Do we even have the button there for exit? Yeah, so we need... like, no, it's not part of the building panel, it's just the... Don't do the brackets, right? Yeah. Ooh. Yep, see, I'm being a moron. Human base. Where did I put it? Base Manager. And we need our leaf button prefab. Oh, we don't actually. We don't, because we're not instantiating them. So I shall just get rid of that. Exit button, back button, whichever. I think exit button's probably a better name, but. And then if I press play here, so we at least want this to be closed. If I press play here, like this, what it should do, hopefully, is take me back to the title screen. Yeah, good. Oh. Okay. That's not good. Is that something about this whole static thing? Exit. Or did I make like a forever loop? Yeah, so we just exit. Why is that? Why did that cause the game? Why did that cause Unity to crash? Okay. Come on, mouse. Okay, so something here? I don't think so. Does it not like me setting that? Like, what's the problem? Update leaves. Ah, it is a loop. I'm such a moron sometimes, honestly. Okay, so this whole static thing isn't the way to do it then. I mean, maybe it is, but I'm not doing it properly. So I just want then, so we make this is just my little workaround. There might be a better way, but this is how I do it. So if I want to, if there's something that's going to be used by a lot of things, I mean, I could just make a reference to Base Manager from Leaf Button. That wouldn't be too difficult, but then I'd have to make sure it's on all the time for each button. So we just do public void update leaves with all of that in it. And then in leaf button, we just have to add a C, and that means we can access whatever public scripts it has. I don't know if that's the best way to do it, but that's how I do it. If someone knows a better way, they can tell me. Okay. Good. Okay, and what the screen we want to load is map. And of course we can have like some kind of, it would be nice if the camera like maybe like lifted and zoomed out a bit and then kind of faded to white, and then we end up back at the map, and vice versa. Like when you click on a building, just zoom in a little bit on it, fade to white. And then so from the map, we want the same thing. So this is very boring stuff here, but from the map, do we even have, yeah, we do. So we'll do a similar thing. Basically just want to do the exact same thing. Let's call this the exit button. And then we just go silly me. And of course, clever man strikes again. So we want to go into map. Get our exit button. That's basically all it has, an exit button, and then just handling what happens when you click these. We could have, what else could we have here? I mean, if you want to get to options, you don't have to do it from this screen. I mean, we could have options in here, but it's not really necessary. And we have the map. Yeah, it's just exit button for the moment, and then over here, since we changed the name, and I mean, so far so good. And I'll make it clear that you can like right click to get the same effect as that button. Okay, and what happens when you press the button is done. That was actually the thing. I didn't realise I'd done this already, because again my brain is a bit frazzled. Update stats code. So I think I'll do that stats thing later today, because if I'm going to be making lots of these upgrades, then yeah, that's going to affect it, because like at the moment I don't currently have it set up so that I can just upgrade a specific character type, and we would want to have more robust code for that. If you want to see some more nasty spaghetti, I think it's like the code for how we, so if you have a talent, how do we confer the benefits of that talent over to a character? Well, we do it when they spawn, And isn't that just horrible spaghetti? What we want is to be able to say, you have this talent. What is the stat associated with that talent, and how much is it worth? And do like a for each, instead of having to go through each one, right? So that's going to be some big refactoring. I'll probably, if not later today, that'll be first thing tomorrow, because maybe that's a morning job rather than a melty afternoon job. And I'm kind of steaming ahead with this, so yeah, I probably will be getting to that soon. This is just working. So you could imagine a few buildings here, and each of them would have different upgrade paths. Okay, I guess one of the things to do is on the leaf. So if we go to building panel, and if I go to the prefab, basically inside this, I guess it would just be an image, just a little white square, and we'll call this line. And this would go behind everything else. Yeah, say about 5. Yeah, I suppose that's a good place for it. It might wiggle with the buttons, so I might need to do it differently, but just in principle, each button has a line above it. It might be rotated or whatever, but that's basically it. And this line could be white or black. It will be black by default. And then all we need to do, so let's grab that. Very simple name there. I don't know if that should be clearer, but line. And then over here, leaf is acquired. Right? And it would never be black, like you would never have it and then load the scene and then have it disappear, so I don't need to turn it off if it's so like I can't see a scenario where it would go grey or white or that, yeah, that I can't see a scenario where we need that, so I think we just need to turn it on when it needs to be on and have it off by default. So new leaf button.line.color equals white. And yeah, that should work. So we go to, let's see it. And kindly, the line automatically appears below the next one. We do have an issue where the tool chip of the one below is obscured by this, and sadly there's not a way for me to just make it appear above, because yeah, there's no way for me to just make it appear like on top of the rest of the scene without having to like make a new canvas or something. I would like to just have access to like layer. I mean, Yeah, this has nothing to do with this has nothing to do with like the render layer. We want the render layer to be higher, but I don't really know how to do that. So what I'll probably end up doing is making it so that the tooltip comes to the side instead, which would actually be better. Or just appears as an overlay on the button. We'll figure that out, but I'm not going to worry about that just now. So that's really easy. And if we wanted one to to be pointing to the side or to have multiple, so actually we might need a scenario where like one would lead to two different ones, in which case we would want a list, right? Let's just set that up now. Public list. And I think we need to, using system.collections.generic. In fact, it would need to be a transform. No, just sorry, yeah, just public lines, and then color.wheat. And then here in the prefab, we say and then pop that in. Okay, and that should do it. That should make white lines for the ones that we have, and like if you've unlocked the thing, the line turns white, and if there's multiple lines, they'll all turn white, meaning you can now do it. It doesn't have to be turning white, but that's just the simplest way to display it. So we could have something like, I mean, before I had these like vines that would grow out when you unlock the thing, but I think just a line is fine. We're sort of keeping it simple here. You've already got the context of you're upgrading a building, and the what you upgrade there will sort of depend on the building, and I think that's fun. I think that's nice, and we've got this story that we're building up a camp, so that's good. Okay. This is like, it's that funny thing that as you get better at programming, the things that you think are going to take forever don't take a few minutes, and you're like, oh shit, like it's not even 10 o'clock and I've done everything that I thought would take the whole day. So it's a bit of whiplash in a way, right? Because that's easy, that's done. I guess it's the so if we think about, like, I guess I can just start putting it in from my Miro board, right? So I'll open my Miro board. And so just to show you, this is me, like, and this is very rough, like I've started designing how it's gonna be. We can put in things like having the line to show that, like, here's a major upgrade, but the way that that works is basically like you could have a leaf that doesn't actually do anything but is just a requirement for the next ones, and it's expensive. And when you do that, this window will close and the building will visually level up, which I guess I should program that. So, like, we would have different types of leaves. Let's bring this up. We would have different types of leaves. And it wouldn't be effect names, no. It would have a list of stats. It would have a, I think a list of stats would be fine, but it could just be a stat. It has a stat, or it has a character, or it has... should we start doing that? Okay, let's crack this thing open, since we're, like, already in bonus time, I think. So, what is a leaf? A leaf has previous upgrade names. Unlock type could be considered, but we don't actually need that. Bean cost, we'll just call that cost, and if it's unlocked or not, so that's simple enough. Okay, so I don't think we need these. I think what we need is public. Could it be a list of stats, or just a stat is fine? Let's make it that, what if we wanted one that did a few stats? List stat, which isn't a thing yet. Stats equals new list stat. Okay. New list. So it could be a stat, it could be a character. Could be more than one character, but I don't think so. Public character. Public weapon. What else would it have? So unlock type is irrelevant. So you can unlock a character, you can unlock a weapon, you can unlock a talent. Except it doesn't have that. So actually it could just be associated with an upgrade. Public upgrade, because all of those are just different types of upgrade. So it can have a stat or an upgrade, or some stats. Could have some upgrades. Yeah, let's do it. List upgrade. Like that. Okay, so these unlock things, they have names, descriptions, previous upgrade names, which tells you how to unlock them. Stat, or it's got a list of stats and a list of upgrades. So what upgrades does it unlock? What stats does it unlock? And then there's a third thing it could be. It could be an upgrade to a specific character. In which case, you could do it really simply, right? So if it's a stat, it's like, for each stat in this leaf, add that to all friendly characters. Simple. If it's if it's got a stat and no upgrade, then just add the stat to everyone. If it's got an upgrade, then give that upgrade. If it's got a stat and an upgrade, then we're talking about a specific thing, and we would add stats to that upgrade. That makes sense, right? So if stat, then add stat. If upgrade, then add upgrade. If stat and upgrade, then add stat to that specific upgrade only. I think that works. Hello, Jack Estelle. How's it going? Thanks for joining. Are you new here, or have I met you before? So yeah, I think this works. This is nice and simple. And then so I do need a better way of, like, how to actually do these things. So I'm thinking, yeah, so here's where we add all the stuff that we've gotten from our things, and I guess heroes become unlocked, factions become unlocked, and that's already working. Oh, thank you, YouTube algorithms. Yeah, thanks for joining. Let me know if there's any questions you have. This is a like survivor-like game, like Vampire Survivors, but you can summon an army to fight alongside you, and that's actually way more different and complicated than perhaps it sounds, because rather than like everyone's got different weapons, there's different types of characters, and they're all targeting each other and fighting each other, and it can get quite complicated, but it's really fun. Maybe I should do a little play session, although I might have broken the game. I could play it in Steam, I think, because apparently I'm already playing it. I could play the demo. So yeah, we don't look at leaf.unlock types. Okay, so this is to upgrade and unlock. So if leaf.upgrade... Okay, no, we just go... So we want to do this like... Let's do the big if statement. If leaf stats.count greater than 0, so it has a stat, and I guess it would be and leaf dot upgrade dot count greater than 0, then both stat and upgrade apply stat to upgrade only. I don't know why that's all. I'm capitalizing every word. And then else, and I don't know if this is the best way to do it, but if leaf leaf to upgrades.count is greater than 0. Is it something like... Yeah, I think I know what the deal is. Okay, but we can work with that. Because basically, if I'm to... I mean, I don't know if there's a way around this, but the way I do saving and loading, which I got from online like years and years ago, I can't use my own bits here unless I make them serializable, but then they don't have... I think I've found what's easiest to do is actually just to make these things strings, and then find the name by the string, or find the thing by the string. So we would then go, where were we? For each and then we do like that. Because get upgrade is basically doing that. Yeah, okay. Yeah, leaf could have could be an artifact. We'll expand on this as we go. So we'll go public. For now, I'll just do string artifact. And would it be null, or would it be this? We'll see. Because I might have to check if it's that instead. Maybe like I could just make sure of it and just do it like this. Yep, and that should work. Except we could just do artifacts, get artifact, leaf. Okay. And then so we could have a number, so we would also have to have how do we know whether this artifact also if so just setting it up so that it will work for upgrade choices and rerolls. So we've already got that set up. We just need to say how do we put on the leaf whether it does that or not. So we could just say maybe unlock type wasn't such a bad thing, but we could say like it could be a stat, but yeah, we could say int public int artifact choices. Seems a bit redundant to have these numbers on all of them. And why don't we do this here for artifacts? I think I remember it was some stupid bug that I couldn't figure out. Okay. So yeah. Okay. Just kind of changing things as I see them. So we would have 4 different types of currency, or a faction would have a currency associated. I think the simplest way is just gold, and I'll just be very quick with the naming here. So like the orcs would have, I don't know, teeth. Public. Let's change it later. Just need a working title. For each faction. But we need it to be 4 per faction, so we'll figure that out later. For now, we'll just work with gold. So here's going to be messy. Yeah, let's get on with this refactoring. I think. Well, yeah. Let's see. So I'll leave this for now. But let's just say, yeah, cost. And we'll need to think about how to, which I'm not doing yet, is like how to make it work for particular factions. Or not, you know. So effect names. So yeah, we don't have effect names anymore. We'll just have stat. And in this case, oh, except stats still need their number. Oh god. Because basically I'm not going to, like, the stat ought to have a sprite attached to it, but the stat ought to have a sprite attached to it. But if I have a sprite attached to it, it won't serialize, like it won't save. Now I could make sprite, like, and I don't know the best way around that. So if we go stats, yeah, leaf. So what we could do is have stats values and so I would, so in this case it would be, the stat would be HP or max HP, and the value would be 10. And then I would just have to make sure it's always in line. So if there was another one, we would have another, and these would just have to match. what's this? The leaf button. Okay. So we're not doing unlock type anymore. If leaf dot stats, wait, so this is where we're gonna make the picture on the leaf match whatever the thing is. So if leaf, so we would change the color of it, we'd change the name, we would change, like we sort all of that stuff out, which makes me think, yeah, we'll see about that. Leaf.cost. Okay, and we would want to start sorting this out to be able to work with different factions. Because we need to save how much money you have, so that can't, because I was thinking like the coin could exist on the faction. But no, we can't have that. So we could just do like a switch statement, but that seems a bit clunky. Like current, we would want like current currency, you know? Huh. Or like current faction, basically. This is a cheat anyway. Yeah. I think I should start working back on the list. I kind of lose myself. So we have this. And those are the only compile errors at the moment, I think. Yeah, so when we set a faction, so it'd actually be on the map when you click on a building. Open base. Okay. So here is where we would say load a base, and I don't know if I want, I'm not sure if I should even be thinking about other bases, but basically we have this, and then we have, so there's our canvas, buildings, floor, wall, directional light. Okay, let's call this basis. So would it need to be different scenes? I don't know. I think the easiest way would just, yeah, have something called bases. Have something called human base. Working title. Put all of that in here. And then that can be switched on or off. And then this scene should be called just base. And then can we, like, how do we then manipulate like we want to store like who's the current faction, right? So we want to say, yeah, I think we can. So could we say, so back to the map, base manager dot current faction equals b dot faction. And I guess it would just be the name of the faction. Public faction. And then I think it would be a faction name. Oh, hello, pregnant person. I can kind of relate because my wife was pregnant recently twice. But thanks for sharing. Why are you pregnant? Congratulations, by the way. That's kind of random thing to comment, but it's fine. I respect pregnant people. It's hard work. Yeah, so then this would be, and I think we could go factions. No, I think we'll just put it in manually. We should have like a list of constant strings somewhere. Faction name equals human beings. Is that what it's called? I think I can go to factions. Oh, we don't actually set up the factions here. Do we do that in title screen? We shouldn't. Faction list. Yeah, no, this shouldn't be here. So yeah, we're doing lots of like refactoring, I think, at the moment. That's what we've got ahead of us. So if that's what you're into, then stick around because we'll be doing this for a while, I think. Lots of like shuffling things around as we add new stuff that relies on it. So now we can go to factions, and this is where it should be. Okay. Yeah. So we don't need these brackets. Like that. Okay, sprite. I think I also want to, well, yeah, we can just go. I'm not going to change that because that's going to require me to like click and drag a bunch of things. But so for now, I'll just go. So in title screen, we had presumably And God, these can just be basically like I usually make these public. So, as in, yeah, I mean that's just how I usually do it. I'll make a sprite public. But I started this project as an experiment of like, how good is AI at helping me to code? My spoiler, like, I definitely recommend it to try it, but not on an actual project because I think it's actually given me technical debt. But the AI made me do private serialized field, and I'm like, I don't know if that's actually better. Maybe it is. But it just kind of confused things. It's better to just do things the way you know, I think. Don't trust an AI to teach you best practices, I think. Okay. So we've got all our sprites here. Good, so that fixes that. Okay. Okay, yeah, let's code this in principle. So for each string stat in leaf.stats, and 0. I don't know what to call that, but basically we just need goes up by 1 each time. So basically we can say where did this I come from? So this can just be I. There you go. And that will plug into the existing system, although the existing system should change. Okay. But that and actually it will mean that the first one won't do anything because we don't have a stat called. Actually, we do have a stat called that will actually just work. Because we do actually have the buff thing called max HP. But yeah, we'll change that. And then okay, so I think I want more compile errors. Compile errors are easy to fix. They can make my next thing that I have to do really clear. Okay, yeah. So yeah, so the achievement button. So like the currency is now faction specific. So I need to like make sure that whenever, because it used to be, so this is the old way. This is your currency for buying things, and it was called magic beans. And it was easy. You just got magic beans for playing the game, and you could spend them wherever you want. Although now I want different currencies depending on which faction you're using. So we could have something like current faction. So it'd be like base manager. And yeah, I think we'll just have to do a switch state in each case. I don't know, a switch case. So it would be like, so when you're giving beans, so that this is all kind of fairly deprecated anyway, but switch base manager dot current faction if, and faction is an actual faction. So wait, don't we have faction names? Yeah. So we should be able to say so wouldn't it be switch human beings does that need a colon, semicolon? No. And we'll say and this is really fiddly, very spaghettified, but might actually be the lesser evil. Yeah, black beans and spicy beans. These are all going to change. And then so this would be teeth. Skulls or souls. Okay. Just going to hold on to that because yeah, I don't know if I should have like a current currency, which would point to. So it would be something like. But I want, like, if I say base manager dot current currency equals gold, save load dot gold, does that mean that it's just going to point to that number, or is it actually that number and now we'll do to that whatever, you know? Shit, I mean, because this is just so fiddly. Or if a faction actually has a certain amount of gold and it's just like when we save and load the game, we have to just make it match. I don't know. Or if currency was like an actual thing with like its own icon and everything. Because basically, otherwise, I'm just going to have to put these switch cases everywhere. So it's like we would want to make a new thing for currency. And then it's like when we set the faction. Yeah, so the faction should have a currency. So then whenever we say, so this would just be save load.current current like that. And then whenever we save the game, so yeah, back to save load, whenever we save the game, we can do that switch case. Or we can do current profile dot gold equals factions then we're just putting all of this and then when we load we do that in reverse. Can I just, what's the quickest way to do this? I think I'll just do it like this. And then basically whenever we, so on the base manager, like if we've unlocked something, so where is that? Leave button. So then this would be base manager, current faction. Okay, yeah. And yeah, I think that's the best way to do it. I know, please let me know if there's a better way that I'm missing. I mean, yeah, I guess we should have, because I'm just going to kind of do it manually because there's only 4 factions, basically, rather than setting up a whole thing where we've got like currency, which has a sprite and all of that stuff. Okay, so current profile dot. So this would be, what is this? Achievements. Okay, yeah. So this just this is going to be completely deprecated, but never mind. Redundant even, but this would just be base manager dot character select. See, I think this should happen. So this happens when you open character select. No, I mean, this should just all happen on load, right? So let's go back to... so here is where we deal with some of the... So yeah, leaf in leaves. But we need access to it. So I think that should be at the title screen. I mean, where would it be relevant? Like, if they're unlocked, then unlock them when we open character select. That sort of makes sense, I think. Yeah. So let's keep them here. If... And then so Leaf would have public string stage equals N8. Oh, this was like a fix. Never mind. So if leaf dot I guess we could say hero. Maybe unlock type was better. I don't know. Leaf.hero, leaf.stage. For each hero and characters.heroes. Is that right? If hero.names is equal to leaf.hero, hero.unlocked equals true. Station is equal to stage. Okay, let's not mess with that. One thing at a time, one thing at a time. Right. Okay. Don't know why I'm going to my notepad. I've not got a nice tidy to-do list there. Just kind of whacking it, hitting moles as I see them, squashing bugs as I see them. Okay, so this would be base manager dot current faction dot currency. I could do a big find and replace for that. Like I could do a big anytime we see this, just change it to this. But I do actually want to just kind of pay attention to it, because the more you look at your code, the better you know it. Just kind of understand the context of each one. Okay, that works. There we go. Right. Yeah, I expect that to work. It's like we're dealing with the factions like current currency, and then when we open a base, so this would be from the map, that's when we set the current faction, and otherwise it wouldn't change. If there's, and then when we do like start stories, we could just like set it there again, just in case, like, yeah, because you might click, when you click on a story node from the map, like a story mission, you should get yeah, it should just make that your current like whichever the current faction is supposed to be for that story mission. That would make sense. Although it might be more like a list of available characters, because there's points where you might choose between different. You can choose which faction you want to play as for certain story missions. Okay, all right. So that's that then. So we've kind of set it up. Minor achievement, but we set it up so that we are dealing with multiple factions without having to have this spaghetti code everywhere. We just have it here in the save file, and we just say that the save, all important, how much money do you have, is there, and points. Oh, this is an interesting one. Yeah, because this is going to want to be different for each faction. So audio, yep. Max units, yep. These are all graphical setups. The leafs, of course, really important. Last used stuff is good to have as well. It's total kills, tutorials. Yeah, okay. Achievements. Achievements will be per faction, I think, as well. But each faction would also want to have its own points thresholds, which I'll want to store like here, basically in the same way. So we go like the gold points threshold. So we do actually want to make... That doesn't undo the work we've just done. It just means, you know... So these again would be stored per faction. So rather than making a new thing called currency, I think we want a new thing. So on each faction, we would want this stuff. Where's factions? Had it open recently. Okay. So actually on each faction, we would want there it is up there. Currency, points, total points, points threshold. Okay, and then that would come out of here. Although it would have to be here somehow. So we could have a thing called currency, which doesn't have anything serializable in it. I mean, that can't be serialized. So I think I should do that. So yeah, kind of thinking as I go. Not always the most efficient, but still learning. So we create, and I think we can just put it on the faction script. So faction has public currency. And currency has a name. And we'll do doesn't need a description. It may need a sprite, but we could just have faction currency sprite, you know. We'll just do it manually. It's just it will be just be the icon that shows up. And then there'd be the amount. And then there'd be and then so each faction has a currency. Okay, and now all of those bits that we just all those lines that we just changed, we have to change them again, but it should be fairly straightforward. If new button.leaf.cost is current faction.currency dot amount. So it's just going to be a case of adding this. And bear with me because we're probably going to have to change those lines again anyway, but cross that bridge when we come to it. Right. Did we definitely get rid of... Yes, we want to get rid of it here as well. Do we? Yeah, no, we want public. So we just want to have... is this going to work? Yeah, we can do that. Public currency. Gold. Yeah, we do it like that. Because then we just don't have to store like 4 things for each currency. We just have the currency. Yeah. And then just going back to save load. So we would go, it would be like this, current profile dot gold. Yeah, so we would go copy currency source currency, I guess we'll call it like subject object source destination. And then we just go, what's wrong with this? Cannot declare instance members in a static class. What are you on about? I don't understand any of this. Okay, because this is a static class. I can't do things, I can't declare these. Essentially what I want to do, current profile, maybe I'll just copy and paste it, dot gold, dot amount equals so yeah, I just need to, and then it would also be current profile. So this is a bit fiddly. Why can't I do this? Cannot declare instance. I don't even know what an instance member is. Okay, I'll just do it like that then. So source dot amount, no, destination amount equals source dot amount, destination dot points, this. Okay, that should work. Make it serializable so that it updates. So that it saves, I mean, and that should work. And then we've dealt with our like multiple currency issue. I now just need to do all of these. And I'm going to do it, it's not too many, I'm just going to do it mostly manually. Here we go. It's the next view, so I'll paste it, I'll copy it, I mean. Okay. It's good progress, I guess. I had three half shifts, so 1.5 shifts, eaten away by heat and childcare. But yeah. But we've made really good progress on this new stuff, and we're tidying up the code a bit, so that's good. Okay. And so where does that leave us? What's next? I think that's basically handled this issue of having multiple currencies. Like, so if we go points threshold, yeah, like as we this is just to handle the animation of the you know, how fast the bar moves. But yeah, basically points threshold just only gets multiplied for that currency. Yeah, no, that should work. That should be fun. So you, yeah, that makes sense. So basically, like, as you get points towards your next bit of gold, or as you each time you fill up those points to get some gold, it takes a little bit longer each time, and obviously you don't want that to be like across factions. You want that to be faction specific. So that's what we've got there. All right. What's next? Beanstalk. Yeah. So I should probably start going off the list because we should have this working. Let's see what happens when we press play. See if anything breaks. Hello. Okay, and let's make a fresh save. So I'm just gonna delete the save file and see if that works, if that fixes any problems we have, because I think that's gonna cause some problems. And of course, when I release, I need to make sure that it works for people who made a save file with the demo, because obviously that'll be really. And wait, are those new errors? I should have error pause on. So if someone's played the demo or the beta and then they come to play the main game, we don't want it to like be ruined. Okay, so that's null, and I think like the source amount is null or the destination amount is null. So yeah, factions. I think we just need to say just give me a default one. Do we even need names? Is names even relevant? Because perhaps we ought to just say, yeah, we'll see about that. It's not too dire because again we're only dealing with like 4 things. Okay, so then and of course we're definitely going to want to see our currency on that screen. Wait a sec, why is... So now there's other. This seems completely unrelated to everything I was doing. But let's see. So what is wrong here? So this is base manager. Open building. This building. And that's the leaf button. So it's like not, I think that's the root of it. It's not, name equals leaf. No, the leaf doesn't have a name. Okay. So let's find out why this is happening. That's odd. So why hasn't it found a leaf? So we know that there are leaves in all leaves. Ah. Okay, yeah, because we were looking at save load.currentProfile.leaves. And have none been added? So when do we add? I'm going to get rid of this. Okay, so I think we need this. like something like on a new, yeah, so something like, leaves, yeah, so we're never actually adding it other than in here. So when we make a new save, if then see if that works. I feel like it should. Okay. Yeah. And because we don't have any money, these are grayed out, which is what we expect to see. So that's good. We can get rid of these. We solved the problem. Now time for more problems. So we can go back and just say save load dot current, just get current faction dot currency dot amount. And we're going to want like to see the currency like on the buildings for like how much we have of each currency. Ah, but there we go. Yeah, that's what we expect to see. We should be able to still have the tooltip for ones that we've selected. But yeah, the lines are working. I mean, obviously this doesn't look very pretty, but it works. So one, we want to see currency, and I'm pretty sure so the lines need to be here. So if the tooltip comes up, yeah, I mean, just a slightly annoying thing that's easy to fix. All right. So yeah, there'll be a bunch of stuff for different factions, which to be honest will just come up when I start making the other bases. We would have something like on the leaf buttons, there might be some which are like how would we say which ones are special? So we could say a leaf could have like this special leaf makes the, so like it's the building changes. That's one thing to consider programming in, so that the building changes as you hit certain level up milestones on it, right? So you would upgrade your HP 4 times, maybe a couple other things, and then you would hit like a wall. I think I show it here, these little lines here, and then when you unlock those, it'll be like this. So you have to unlock the things before it. When you unlock that unlocks the whole next tier and reveals it, but actually will then that screen will then minimize, and then we go back to the barracks and we get the little scene of it growing, which will probably be something like I don't know, some kind of animation to show that it's leveled up to this new building. So maybe it will we'll get like little puffs of dust, and then they'll dissipate, and we'll be back, and we can see the new version of the barracks, and then closes the window. But that's kind of like sort of, well, I think what I ought to do is start just putting these things in. And so this is going to be a job and a half, and it's going to be really annoying and fiddly. And I need to have a good think about the design as well. So let me explain these. The blue ones are unlocking and then upgrading a specific character, specific ally. The yellow ones are unlocking and upgrading, except that most of them will be unlocked by default, specific talents, which is like armor or like passives. The pink ones are heroes. The green ones are global stat boosts, which is an interesting one. And so one of my questions is like, should I have all of these things? And could they perhaps be like streamlined a bit to be a bit more themed? So instead of having attack speed and damage, you could have more themed stuff. Like, oh, you've improved training drills for your army from the barracks, meaning that all of your characters' damage and attack speed and marching speed is so it's just like a global increase, which would just feel a bit less paint by numbers, you know, and allows us to kind of tweak the balance in a more interesting way, because we could say if something doesn't work at a higher level, or like if something's like the game's balanced right for like your first session, but it's not balanced right later on, we can put in something that the player will be able to buy that will then rebalance the game, that will kind of fix things. But at the moment, I just have these paint by numbers, like these. The orange ones are advanced weapons, the red ones are weapons. So that's all the stuff in the game. But I really do need to think if this is the right design, because it seems to me, at the moment, that we're basically like, you know, we've got the simple shit down. So as long as I arrange these in the right way and name them right, and that they correspond to a leaf over here. So I would want to go through leaves, and I'm going to want to add every single one that I can think of. I don't need to worry about the descriptions just yet, so that will probably all just match HP. I can do it in some cases, but I don't really need to do it. It's these comments that makes it impossible. That makes the formatting not work properly, so I'm just going to delete these. Should be obvious, or there should be a list somewhere. I know I should use JSON files or whatever it is. I just have no idea how. Oh, I thought that would fix it. I just don't know why these are so deeply indented in. And I want to fix it before... I think I'll just have it... I'll just have it on a single line. So I think, funnily enough, that does make it more readable, because I don't spend much time looking at the non-English versions. So it doesn't actually matter that that's kind of off screen there. Like, it doesn't matter that it's a bit messy, but it is nice to have things a bit shorter so I can just really get to the bits that matter. And we end up with these quite long lines here. But that's okay. I think that's the lesser evil. You can always zoom out and see them. But basically, I'm only concerned with this part, and then I get a translator to do the rest. Not a real translator, a robot one, obviously. I'm not made of money. Obviously, I'd like to get a real translator one day, but you know, beggars can't be choosers. So yeah, we have all of the things that we need for each leaf. Like these are all going to be NA, and I only add these if I like want them, if I actually want them. So I could say, let's make HP 3, 4. Let's make, and then yeah, HP. It's like I should add like hero upgrades. So like there could be upgrades specifically to a hero or to all heroes. And that means, oh, okay, well then each hero could have a few stat upgrades. And I think rather than these ones, which are just global stat upgrades, I think it would be more fun to have like specific shit, you know? Like your hero has extra 10 HP because you've unlocked a specific thing that is thematically in line with that, right? Like Hero's Armory or like Treasure Chest or something. Oh, now you're gonna start with something better, or like Sean's, you know, like something in the church for the priest character that just gives him a permanent upgrade. Rather than like all healing. Like all healing is fine. Like any of them are fine. It's just what I'm not sure about is this kind of paint by numbers approach of taking every single stat that we have in the game and putting it somewhere on this chart. I would rather have themed stuff where it's like, so we don't have, so yeah, this is meant to be for heroes. So like hero HP. I need to reflect that somewhere on the board. I'm not going to fix that before it's time to get my son, but for example, yeah, increases the HP of all allies. But then there's another one which increases the HP just for heroes. And then here, where I actually like make that happen, so leaf in leaves. So it would be like, if the stat is HP, like that's just for the hero. But if I wanted it to be like, and I think this should be different as well. Like it shouldn't happen here. It should be like, basically at the title screen. So once we've loaded everything, so we start, we initialize everything, and we wait for where do we do that? Oh, we don't actually do that here. We do it somewhere else where we wait for all of the upgrades to have like finished loading, because it does take a while. And so we, after all the upgrades have been loaded, we then say, right, let's modify, let's get the stats. Let's take all the leaves that we've unlocked and apply the upgrades of those stats to the characters concerned, right? And all the unlocks and stuff like that. But then what happens when you actually get the thing? We should just add it there and then. And then if you were to close the game and open it again, well, it's just going to read from... So at the beginning, load... So go through each leaf. So yeah, apply effects of leaves. I know leaves is the plural, but it's working title anyway. Apply effects of leaves. To do. So that'll be like one of the next things I can do. Nice chunky job to do. So apply the effects of the leaves. So we would take a stat and we would apply it to the character script, and it should just like permanently affect that. And then we don't want to do that every time we load the title screen. So I'll make a note of that. Not every time we return to title. So like at this point we would say let's reset the stats to null, to like basic. So it would be like either we only do this at first load, or and then where do we actually load the game? Save load.load. Yeah, there. So we've loaded the game. Like we don't need to load the game again. I mean, it doesn't take very long, so it's not going to hurt too much. But technically, we shouldn't be loading the game every time you return to the title screen. It should be like a one-time loading screen at the beginning where we load everything, and then after that, when you unlock a leaf, it should just apply it there and then. Yeah. I mean, the temptation would be like every time I upgrade, like I just unlocked a leaf, would be to then run this code again and just reset everything and then add everything again. Because that really won't take long. Or we have it that the leaf does something different. It's like when we... So like, and that wouldn't be too difficult. We could just be like apply effect of leaf. And when we load, we apply effect of all currently unlocked leaves. But then when we unlock a leaf, we just apply the effect of that one. Of individual leaves when they are pass and when they are unlocked. So apply effects of leaf for each leaf, and so we would have something like, I mean, we could have like a public static void apply leaf. I'm worried that that won't work very well. But it would be, this is where we would put it. So we would take, so we apply the leaves to the characters. We apply the stats to the characters. We unlock the upgrades. And this whole thing about, yeah, this is silly, I think, because it's not going to cover all our bases. Like, each leaf is fairly unique. So we'll get to that. But basically, we just need this, like, fundamental... And we would just go through it in the list. So what is this one? This applies a stat to... Like 10, that should mean that it's just for the hero. Applies a stat to characters. To all characters, let's say. So then we would just go through all characters. And what faction is this? You know? So I do think, so coming back to design again, I do think it would be more fun to say, like, instead of having Tavern, you unlock HP... I think Tavern would have something called like Banquet, right? Which would increase HP of all allied people. But Banquet would be like specific to the humans, and just raises HP of everyone in the human faction. And we kind of go through each leaf and like, yeah, a leaf can have a target faction and just find the best way to kind of standardize how a leaf works and make it apply. 10 would be that's for a hero. And so yeah, like what is the target character? What is the like who is this for? So we might need to tidy up how that works a bit. I'd say today was fairly good progress. Sorted out the currency thing. confident that the UI works. But yeah, we need to make leaf application happen at the beginning of the game. Make leaf application happen only once at start, and then make sure each leaf is applied when unlocked. And so ideally then we would have a universal bit of code somewhere which is, and then it's like if leaf, and so if leaf dot stats, yeah, so we would just do like we have here. So let's start with and this is player.addBuff, right? But we would put it on the character, so we don't want to use the buff system. But we would say, yeah, what if it just applies to the hero? And basically I'm just going to have to like work it out as I go. Like, so a leaf might have a target type. Yeah, so like, or a leaf would have like a list of targets, or like it only applies to the hero, or it only applies to, and then we could have leaves for each faction, as in, instead of having a single list of leaves, we have a list of leaves for each faction. But I think it's more so like, no, a leaf has a target on it. And it would be like target type equals hero, or target type equals human heroes, or something. Target type. Because I think like artifact choices and stuff, like, yeah. Could that be universal? Could that be on like a per faction basis? I'm just thinking out loud, like designing, like, yeah, what if like a reroll or a choice was like you could only buy that once per faction, but they actually worked for all factions. I mean, I think the easiest way is like if there are, like, for example, the demons, right? They're going to appear at the end of the game. They can just start off better than the humans start off, but they'll be like on par with an upgraded human, but then we just have a few up. So they kind of end up in balance, right? So they'd actually have fewer upgrades, fewer buildings to draw as well. It might be fun, you know. So you don't have to go through unlocking level up rerolls and choices for them specifically.
I'm gonna go get Cyrus.
Oh no, I'll get him.
You do it.
Yeah.
Okay.
Could go get my kid in a bit. So yeah, just thinking out loud. Yeah, it would have like public string target type, right? That equals null, whatever. And then we say if target type is humans, and do it for humans. If it's human heroes, do it for human heroes, and we'll figure out like the neatest way to do that. Okay. Yeah, best leave it there. I think when I come back, I'll probably start on the stats thing, because I just think there's some dependencies there. So I will come back and we'll be refactoring stats, which should be fun. All right, thanks very much for joining. Please subscribe if you enjoyed, and I will see you, I think, at 1 o'clock.